Hey everybody, Vaughn here from OrganMadeEasy.com, and in this video we're going to be covering how to switch from piano to the Hammond organ, okay? Now, there are two totally different instruments, okay? So what we're going to do is show you some tricks that'll help you make the switch a lot easier and a lot faster. Usually with a lot of my piano playing friends, there's some kind of intimidation they feel when it comes to approaching the Hammond organ for the first time. So on behalf of them, I'm bringing this video to everybody to help you guys out. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. Now, the first tip I'm going to talk to you guys about is something called the organ crawl. Now, usually on piano, there's a sustain pedal where if you play it and you press the sustain pedal, you release your hands, and you press the sustain pedal, the notes will still depress, or still hear the notes. On organ, that's not the case. So this is where the organ crawl comes in. The organ crawl is a way of moving your hands where they don't pick themselves up. You don't pick your hands up off of the organ, okay? You smoothly move from one chord to the other, all right? So for instance, let's use a simple progression in D flat. So okay, so that's what we're going to start with. We're going to work with that same progression for the tricks I'm going to show you guys. So all right. So with the organ crawl, I wouldn't pick my hands up like that. I wouldn't do them that spaced out. On a piano, you can probably get away with it, but you can't do that here. So what I would have to do is this. Okay? And that comes from you keeping your hands pressed down and sliding. See that? Watch my index finger here and my ring finger here. Watch. See? You have to slide into the notes. Then you have to go up to the E flat minor 7, slide up. Okay? Then you have to slide up to the E diminished. See that? And then once again, we're going to slide up to the D flat over F. Okay? Now, what makes the organ crawl effective is that it connects everything. Okay? It connects everything. And also you saw me use some little rubs. I call them rubs or trills or grace notes. Those things. Those help to connect everything instead of doing still smooth, but to give it a little more, you know. See that? Right there. Stuff like that. That connects it, all right? So that's the first tip, guys. On to the next. The next tip we're going to talk about now is voicings. Now, on piano, you're used to voicing things where you're playing the bass in your left hand. And a lot of my friends have issues like, well, what do I play in my left hand now that I'm on organ, I'm playing the pedals, right? So you have to learn how to voice your chords differently. Now, usually you're used to voicing them with the bass in the bottom, and then you probably go with the fifth and then the third, like that. Or you know, depending on the chord, that's a major. If you have really big hands or you're playing a dominant 7 chord, you can do this. You know, a chord like that, dominant C, dominant 7, C minor 7, you'd probably do this. Or, okay, something like that. But on the organ, that's not necessary. Now, this requires you to have some understanding of drawbars, and I'll give you a quick overview. So see, we're using the white ones pulled out here. This means I can play in this region without it sounding muddy, okay? If I were to pull this one out and I play it in this region, it'll sound very, very muddy. See, it'll be like this. See that? That low guttural sound. So if I were to have these out, I have to play up here instead. See? So for the concept of voicings, we're going to work down here. So what you want to do is, instead of having the root in the bottom as the bottom note in your left hand, you want to invert it up to a third. okay? So you want to either have the third in the bottom or the flat 7 in the bottom, or the 7, whatever the 7, whatever chord you're playing, have the 3 or the 7 in the bottom as the bottom note. And I'll show you what I mean. So for that same progression we just did, we started out here, right? Okay. Now, with organ voices, I'm going to play the bass pedals and you'll see what I'm talking about. So D flat's in the bass, and the chord is D flat. See that? But look what note's in the bottom. The third of D flat. See? 1, 2, 3. All right? So I'm voicing it from the third. Okay? Because it makes sense for the region. So, and then moving up to the diminished chord. D diminished, right? It's a D diminished 7 chord, right? But look, the F on the bottom, still there, is the third, you know, 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7. Okay? Now, here's where you can go a multitude of ways. E flat minor 7, I'm adding the 9 just for flavor, but look at the bottom note. It's the flat 3, okay? 1, 2, flat 3. Right? So I'm voicing with the third. Now we're gonna go back to D flat, right? Oh, sorry, no. E diminished 7. E's in the bass, but look what's in the bottom. The third. Okay? Going up now to the D flat. Again, that's D flat over the 3, which is doubled in the hands and in the bass at the same time. So that's how you want to do that. You have to voice your chords with the either the third or the flat 7. Now, in the key of D flat, and because of the keyboard real estate we're in right here, the third works. Okay? But if we were another key, like say A flat or something, or even let's go G flat, okay? If I did that with G flat in this registration, down here, it'll be too low in relationship to the bass. Up here, it'll be too high in relationship to the bass, okay? So, and that's with the third in the bottom. So this is where we have to utilize you putting the 7 in the bottom, okay? So now, say if it's a G flat dominant, you know, take it to church, you know. All right, so G flat dominant 7, add 9. So the flat 7 is the E in that, right? All right, so the flat 7 is at the bottom, okay? And as we move up to, you know, same thing, the G diminished 7. But look, the E's at the bottom, right? And the E, when the E in the G diminished 7 is the double flat 7. So it still is a 7. Then we're going to go to A flat minor 7. All right. Now usually you could just do that. That's the flat 7 of A flat minor 7. Okay, but I usually add that to thicken it up in this key. All right. And then we're going to go to a diminished again. A diminished. All right. And for this one, like I said, I'm thickening it with the E flat. That's just my personal preference, but usually it'll be right here with the G flat or the F sharp in the bottom in the left hand, okay? And that's the double flat 7 of A diminished 7. And going up once again to the G flat 7 over the 3, all right? And having the flat 7 in the bottom, all right? So that's tip number 2, voicings in your left hand. Now for your right hand, you can basically do what you usually do on piano, which is accent. And your right hand actually is going to have less work to do now because you're employing this tactic. So a general rule of thumb, I guess I would tell people to do is take what's in your right hand for the most part and put it in your left hand when you come to the organ, okay? All right, on to the next, guys. Now that we covered voicings on the organ, now we have to talk about something called voice leading, okay? It's one thing to have the voicings down. You know, we just did this. Back to D flat, sorry guys. right? So we just did that, but now we have to add voice leading to connect it even more. That was smooth, it was together, but it still sounded like it needed some pizzazz, so to speak. It still sounded a little bit sterile. So what we want to do is add some voice leading, and this is going to be similar almost to the organ crawl technique, simply because it employs using a lot of the organ crawl in order to achieve the desired effect. So let's start with some voice leading. So first chord. All right, starting there. And then the next chord is going to be what? The D diminished, correct? So what we're going to do is this. How do we transfer from this chord to this chord and make it sound more smooth or more connected? My general rule of thumb is to do chromatic walk downs or something of the sort, or walk ups. So see that? Okay, so low voice leadings like that. So that's how you connect one chord to another chord. Okay, so that was more like a basic way to do it, but let me see how I would do it. See that? All that stuff was voice leading. Different notes in between the chords to connect them and make them sound less sterile. So I'll do it again. That's another one. All right. So that's basically voice leading, finding ways to connect from one chord to another. All right. All right, guys. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tips and strategies I showed you guys here. Be sure to apply them. Comment below. Let me know how these tips work out for you. And see you in the next video. Okay, guys? Peace. Hey guys, if you like what you saw in this video, be sure to share and comment. Share this with all your friends, all right? If you want to see more content like this, go to organmadeeasy.com and sign up for our free mailing list where you'll get updates to what's going on with us, and you'll get free lessons like this delivered to your inbox weekly. If you want to take your learning to the next level, sign up for one of our Learn Live sessions so you'll get one-on-one gospel organ and piano lessons. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace.